Welcome to Marvel Champions Podcast, a podcast about Marvel Champions, the card game. I am your host, Scott, and with me, as always, my co-host, Ryan.
All right, let's get another one out of the way.
Well, Ryan, we're going to talk about another hero, a hero that's been announced in the Next Evolution campaign expansion box. The second hero we're going to talk about from the box is Domino.
Yes, this will be interesting. I'm thus far what I've seen, she seems like she's going to be a fun hero. So let's get into it.
What are your first thoughts on Domino? Just like a quick glance with her.
Ooh, I know her as a mutant. Her whole thing is about luck and probability, and how she always just kind of things fall her way. And I think the cards doing all right with that. There's kind of like a little bit of deck manipulation. So I think they're trying their best to not make it luck base, but also kind of feel lucky, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a hard thing to do. You have to create luck or the sense of luck by a card game where you draw cards and it's completely based off of like random chance, right?
Yeah.
But her ability, I think, works well to kind of, make that concept occur. The other thing I think, just at first glance with her, is she seems very balanced.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
She's got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. She's not too heavy in one thing or the other.
Definitely leans more with that solo one hero play style.
Yeah, maybe she'll be a lucky one for those solo players out there.
Hey, they could use some luck with advance always happening at the worst time.
Or shadows. Shadows.
Yeah. I actually saw a post that someone mentioned that they're like, is it just me, or is Shadows of the Past like an automatic loss? In true solo, I should say.
Oh, in true solo. Okay. I was going to say, with her games, I don't think it's an automatic loss, but it definitely puts up a big roadblock with event stuff rolling.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's an automatic loss, but I think there are some heroes that if you do draw Shadows of the Past, you're up a creek.
Yeah, it's hard to recover.
So, all right, man.
Let's get into her. So on her alter ego side, she is Nina Thurman. She is a mutant with a hand size of 6, hit points of 9. It's a little bit on the lower side of what we've seen for some of the recent heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Recovery 3, she does have an action on this side. You can choose a card in your hand. You swap that card with the top card of your discard pile, and that's limited once per round. Pretty straightforward. I think the action she has kind of helps you prep your turn. If you play any cards that require you to do something with the top card of the discard, you can kind of prepare for that and make it go your way.
Yeah, and just simply kind of deck manipulation. It's very helpful. With a card like this, where you can plan your previous turn, or I guess your current turn, for the card to be on the top of the discard to be something you want to get that following turn.
Right. You do it in alter ego. You throw it in there, flip up, or if it's something her hero card does.
Yeah, like a double resource or something along those lines where you can really benefit from that card.
Right.
So I like it. I like being able to plan ahead, and so she has that ability to plan ahead.
Yeah, those are some of the heroes I like that you can kind of really combo and prep and plan and make it kind of go. Kind of reminds you a little bit of like a Nebula if you plan it right.
Yeah, I could see that comparison.
All right, you want to look at our hero card?
Yeah. So it is Hero Domino. By the way, I also didn't really know Domino's first name, so that was news to me. So Domino, she is an X-Force hero, and she also has the keyword Posse, which is a big keyword for her deck, which we'll get into later. She's 1 Thor, 2 attack, 3 defense. That's a pretty decent stat line. 3 defenses, I think, for me. I've seen that a lot. Gambit was a 3 defense. Um, Ghost Spider 3 defense. She's a 3 defense. So there's been several of those lately.
3 defense is pretty good. I like that personally.
Yeah. Her ability is when counting resources on cards discarded from the top of your deck, count each printed wild icon twice. So, just to recap. So, if you discard cards from the top of your deck when you're counting resources, when you discard from the top of your deck, you count any wild twice. Does that sound about right?
Correct.
Perfect. Okay. And then she has an action. Choose a card in your hand. Swap that card with the top card of your deck. Limited once per round. So what do you think?
Again, I like that deck manipulation because we'll get to her cards, but some of her event cards are all about discarding the top card of the deck. And then on the event, if it's this printed resource or this printed resource or that printed resource, do XYZ, you can really plan on which one you want by throwing a card in your hand right at the top of the deck, knowing what it's going to be when you discard it, which I think is kind of how she's playing with that luck aspect.
Yeah.
Making her kind of feel that way.
Yeah, she kind of has that you make your own luck concept.
Right.
And so that's that way that they're trying to adjust things to allow the player to it not be a guessing game, to have control and plan ahead.
Right. So I was going to say, just have that little bit of control and know what's coming.
Yeah. She does have a hand sign as F5, which is typical. But that's basically it. That is her hero.
The other thing I like about her action is sometimes you can luck out and get a card that you weren't really expecting that you draw at the top.
Yeah. And it's interesting because even if you don't say plan on using that discard from the top of your deck to do something, resource or whatever, just being able to swap a card from your hand from the top of the deck can really be a positive, like, hey, I got this card, but I can't play it this turn, but I want to play it like an upgrade. You go ahead and swap that. Now you're saving it potentially for your next hand, and you're not losing out on resources.
I was thinking that same thing. If she's got like a defensive card, that usually when you have a defensive card when it's your turn, it's sometimes can be a waste, or you just know you can't use it to hold on to it. You can always throw it out there, knowing you're not going to play a card to discard it, and then you'll know it's going to be in your hand going into the villain phase.
Yeah. So I like it. So far, so good.
Yep. Let's get into her. She's unique in this way. She actually comes with 2 signature allies.
Bum, bum, bum.
And I think the other thing to mention, just to kind of help with the cards and getting through them, all of her player cards so far that we've seen all have a wild resource, printed resource, except for her actual resource card that she has, which we'll talk about. So you're throwing down a tons of wilds, which play into that, doubling the printed resources when you count them, which will be nice for her.
Yeah. And we had this conversation a while back, but there's enough cards in the card pool that you can get pretty close in having like almost an all wild deck.
Yeah, I think we looked at them all. There's tons of cards that you would never be able to play because they have restrictions on them.
Yeah.
Or like trait restrictions. But when you're looking for the wilds, it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Because then you're just planning your turn. Oh, I'm going to throw this one back at the top, discard it with this event, and then just, take control.
Yeah. And man, a whole deck of wilds, you'd be able to take care of any villain attachment or whatnot.
Unless it has like a printed specification. Like it had to be a printed physical resource.
I
You'd be
guess
up for
that would
grief on
suck.
that one. All right. Do you want Diamondback or Outlaw?
I'll take Outlaw. You take Diamondback.
Diamondback. All right. I'll start with Diamondback here. So Diamondback is a 2-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 1 consequential for each, 2 health. And she is a posse trait. She says action, exhaust Diamondback, deal 1 damage to her, and discard the top card of your deck. Deal 1 damage to each enemy for each resource icon discarded that way. Which is pretty good, because if it's one of your wild resources, it'll count as 2. So you'll deal 1 damage to each enemy twice. And it doesn't say engage with you, so it's like every enemy. Which would be kind of cool. You could clear like an Ultron drone fest.
Yeah, he says each enemy, so that's everybody.
Yeah, and you can hypothetically get 2 uses out of that before she dies.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, I guess you could throw a bunch of attachments on her and make her live a little bit longer, but
that's true. You could plan around that. Maybe there's a deck idea. Voltron her and keep her alive as long as possible and just deal 1 damage to everything.
Man, if you were able to do something like that, whew, she possibly would be the highest damage output.
And the other thing is they're not attacks, so they won't retaliate or anything.
Yeah, man, if you're playing like a 4-player game with heavy minions or like an Ultron, you throw her in, she just wiping the floor every turn.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I read her card very well leading up to this, so that's cool.
Yep. Not bad at all. Let's
all right, tell us about Outlaw.
Outlaw as a hat, cowboy hat. Sorry, she's 3 costs, 1 thwart, 1 attack, consequential damage for both, 3 health. She does come in with toughness. Traits is Outlaw and Posse. But she does have a special, an interrupt, for her attack, which says when Outlaw attacks, discard the top card of your deck. And then arrow, Outlaw gets +1 attack for this attack for each resource icon discarded this way. So she's more of the single punch, and Diamondback's more of the overall punch.
Okay, so she powers up her 1 attack to that one person, and the other one does it everywhere. Okay.
I think I would like to see her be 2 attack. But maybe that just was too powerful.
Well, so I had to go make sure I read everything right. So if we're looking at Domino, as long as she's in hero form, when counting resources on the top cards discarded from the top of your deck, count each printed wild icon twice. So to me, that doesn't say anything special about her doing it. So her allies should benefit off that too. So that would take her from a 1 to a 3 as long as it was a wild resource.
Correct. Which I mean, three's good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't complain about that.
Nope.
But the reason why I say I kind of wish she had 2 attack, because if you compare Diamondback and Outlaw, Diamondback is doing potentially 2 to everybody versus with Outlaw 3 to 1 person. I feel like the damage isn't quite right for a higher cost. I mean, she does come with toughness, which is nice.
Yeah, that's true. And she has a little more health, but her cost is also one more.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right, man.
All right,
Let's
let's
get into
go
some of these other cards.
and let's look at her events. I think I'm gonna take her event that I like, and you can have the other one. So I'm
Oh,
gonna
cool.
take Luck Be a Lady. So this is a one cost event. It is a superpower. It says hero action: discard the top card of your deck and count the resources on it. For each resource counted this way, if it is a, and then it has all four of the different resource types. So if it is in the lightning icon, it's going to be heal 2 damage from a character. That can heal your allies or yourself or another hero or another alter ego, I guess, too. If it's a science mental resource, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If it's a physical resource, deal 3 damage to an enemy. And if it's wild, you get to choose one of the above. And then if it was a wild, you get to count it again and then do another one, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So you can really plan if you have this card on, do we need to do a bunch of healing? Do we need to do a bunch of thwarting? Do we need to do a little of this, little of that? This is why I think she's real balanced.
Yeah, that versatility is pretty strong with this card.
Yeah, and you get Death Focused. You're playing this card for free.
And that's one thing I was going to bring up is a lot of her cards does have superpowers, so Death Focus is going to be kind of essential for her.
And I think team building exercise will be decent with her posse trait for her signature allies.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I think this is a very solid card that it matches her ability where you can try to manipulate to get what you need.
Yeah. I think she'll have at least 2. Hope 3. Because this is like her big card, probably.
Yeah, I could see 3, but 2, that's what I'm going to bank on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the less exciting one that you pawned off to me is A Good Workout, which is an interesting title. But it's a 2-cost event, attacks, and it's a superpower. Hero action attack. Deal 4 damage to an enemy and discard the top card of your deck. For each resource icon discarded this way, deal 1 additional damage to that enemy. So you're looking, if you draw a wild, you're looking at 6 damages for 2 costs, which is pretty good.
And I think the other thing, just to kind of re-emphasize, is with her ability that she has, you can manipulate the deck to be that card that you need. So if you need it to be a wild to deal 2 more damage with the 4, you can set it up to do that.
Yeah. You have that flexibility as long as you time it right.
Yep. All right. I say we save her upgrades and let's go over to her resource and her support.
Fair enough.
Which one you want, the resource or the support?
I will take the dog.
I was gonna make my joke.
Okay, I will take the resource.
No, I'll take it, but I'm gonna start it and then you take it. So I was gonna say it was Pip the Troll, which is the signature ally for Adam Warlock.
Yes, true
But
that.
it's not Pip the Troll.
Pip
What is it?
the dog.
Pip the Dog. All right, you can go.
Pip the dog. It is a 1-cost support. It's fairly cute.
It's not Pip the Dog, it's Pip the Pug.
Oh, you're right. Pip the Pug. Okay, edit that out, all right?
Okay.
It's an alter ego action. Exhaust Pip the Pug and put 1 Domino or Posse card from your discard pile on top of your deck. So some more deck manipulation.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because you can do this in alter ego, put it on the top, flip to hero, use her hero action, grab that card right off the top. And it's any Domino card too, or
Yeah.
posse.
I
So if
mean,
you wanted to get an event or a support or something, you had to discard. Boom, you got it right back, which is really cool.
yeah. I mean, I would assume, well, most hero supports, there's generally like some form of deck manipulation or like a draw card. This one doesn't have the draw card, which stinks, but being being that her ability, it does affect that top of the card. It makes sense.
Right. All right. Her resource card, Shawarma. Oh no, no wait, it's not Shawarma. It's
Uh,
Jack. What?
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
Jackpot. And it is a resource card that says after this card is discarded from the top of your deck, shuffle it back into your deck. And it has all three of the main printed resources: a lightning, a science, and a physical, or
Pretty
energy,
nice.
science, and physical, which is really cool because if you put this card on the top of your deck instead of to use it to pay for something, you play Luck Be a Lady, you get to do all three of the actions, then you get to shuffle it back into your deck. Mm, that's a fun
It's a
combo.
pretty strong combo.
And it's a three resource, so if you've got a expensive support or something, or ally, you can also do it that way. And
Yeah,
then you could
yeah.
use Pip the Pug to go put it back on top of your deck too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I mean, jackpot is right. When you get to discard that from the top of your deck due to her ability, not some villain ability, you're gonna say jackpot.
That's true.
Um, but with this card, whew, I feel like she's gonna be quite strong.
Yeah, and so far her cost curve's been pretty low.
It has been. I think
I think
the highest one
Outlaw,
has been her outlaw. Yeah,
yeah, was a three.
which I'm guessing based off her cards. I'm thinking that's gonna be her highest.
I think so too. Because we don't see a Thort specific event. If she does have one, maybe that one might be a three. Because defensive events are usually a little cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
which we don't see a defensive event either.
And you normally don't see any 4 cost for heroes. I don't even know if there is a 4 cost for a hero. Maybe Star Lord has one.
I don't know. I have to look that up.
But I mean, some have several threes, but I'm guessing she's a lower cost. I think Black Panther only has 2 and below cost. I think he has the overall lowest cost.
Is Shuri a three cost ally?
I believe she's 2.
Is she too? Hmm.
I think so.
Cool.
Don't look it up.
It is if you say it. Got it. All right, Ryan. I'll let you pick which upgrade you want to talk about.
Let's do. I will do her pistols. It is a 2 cost upgrade Domino's pistol. It's a weapon. It's restricted. And it says hero action attack, exhaust Domino's pistol, choose an enemy, and discard the top card of your deck. Deal 1 damage to that enemy for each resource icon discarded this way. This attack gains ranged. Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like that upgrade to deal damage.
Yeah. I will say after reading that, um, I'm I'm starting to think this is like the only ability is like discard cards from or discard the top card and do 1 plus damage. I'm sure there's a few others that are different, but I think this is the 4th one that's maybe 5th one that's basically says deal 1 damage.
Now you have to remember if it's a wild, it counts as two.
Oh no, I know, but just kind of I wish there was a little bit more variety with that.
So the other thing, the few things that stick out to me, it's restricted. Typically, you can have two restricted.
Do you think she has a second one?
It's not unique. So eh, I'm leaning towards her having two pistols.
I could see that.
So you'll have two. I mean, really, it feels like an Iron Man gauntlet. And I do like that it has ranged. We played Zola the other night, and man, I hated it.
Ranged would have been nice.
It would have been nice.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we haven't really talked about it. Maybe we'll talk about it more, but there is a side effect with that ability, her ability, and the kind of the concept of her cards, and that's simply you're going to be discarding cards, so you have the potential to deck out quicker.
Yeah, I had that same thought when we were talking about that. We really haven't brought that point up.
Yeah, and so you have like Adam Warlock that thrives on that. His cards will kind of want you to deck out, but normal heroes and probably most likely Domino, it's not always a great thing.
There is the downside to what she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's look at her second upgrade that we've had revealed. It's a 2-cost upgrade. It is Probability Field. It's a superpower, and it has an interrupt. When you use a basic power, discard the top card of your deck. You get +1 to that power. For this use, for each resource icon discarded this way. So she could potentially become a what is it? A 3, 4, 5. It's a wild resource. If you attack or thwart, attack, or defend.
Man, that's really powerful.
That reminds me of Venom's pistols, where you can exhaust those and boost basic ability.
Yeah. She kind of does have a slight Venom vibe.
And I think it's because he was very upgrade heavy that manipulated a lot of stuff. Like his multi gun's really good. His pistols are pretty good.
And
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was saying Venom in that same aspect, he can do everything, and do it well. And it sounds like she's in that same boat. She can do everything and do it well.
Right. Not overly powerful, but give her enough time, she can do it all. Everything that you need her to do.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely does require some setup to really get that bigger stuff going.
Yeah, and then she'll be hindered if some of those good things go away. So you're caught off guards and things.
Yep. She's very reliant on those, but so you'd have to have some cheap upgrades to try to throw in there so you can get rid of those instead of her probability field or pistols or whatever.
Yep. All right. Well, we haven't talked about this, but she is aspect with justice in her recon.
My favorite.
I know, and if you haven't noticed, or at least when we play a new campaign box, we usually will pick up. Usually I'll pick the hero I want to play because I'm the one who buys it, and I'm really looking forward to playing Domino.
Yeah, thankfully for this box, there was no real disagreement. I think I was leaning a little bit more towards Cable because I like Justice, and I think he could fit in that Justice mold very well.
Yeah, and I'm interested. I may try and play a couple of games with her when I get the new box to see what aspect I can really build around her to see if I want to switch her up because I usually don't play the Justice player.
Yeah, and I think she is a hero that you could do all the aspects and probably find great success.
Right. I think, at least of her basic, the thwart is her one like little bit of downside to her.
Yeah, there. At least out of the cards that we saw, only other than her hero having the one thwart, I think she only had one card that actually did some type of thwarting.
So far that we've seen, you're right.
Yes. But I'm sure she has a thwart card. Or maybe she doesn't, and we're just blowing smoke.
I don't know. Could be. All right. There's not a lot of Justice cards. I'd say we get rid of the first one real quick because it's just a reprint. It's a 0 cost upgrade Overwatch.
Overwatch. I really
Over.
like that card.
Yeah. So you attach it to a scheme, and then when you remove threat from the attached scheme, you can discard it and remove an equal amount from another scheme.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I'm a champion of Overwatch. I like it a lot.
all right. I'll let you pick the next Justice card.
I will go with. I'm gonna go out of order here and go with ones that I am looking forward to. And so the first one is going to be Take Out the Guards, a player side scheme.
I knew you were going to pick that one.
You knew it. It's a 0 cost, which is nice. Victory 0. When defeated, each player may discard one non-elite minion from play, and it is 4 threat per player. For me personally, this ability, because we've seen it with, or in some form, non-elite minion manipulation. I really haven't used those very often. They have come in handy at times, but for this being 0 cost, and being able to utilize a non-threatening side scheme to benefit play other cards and stuff, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, my thoughts on it is it's one of the higher threat levels that we've seen on these.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I think is interesting is I feel like some of these player side schemes are doing what the aspect is weak at. So like typically when you think of Justice, you don't think of being able to like take out minions and things. And this is kind of filling that deficit in a Justice deck. And then the other thing is a little situational.
Yeah, it is. It is a little situational, but the good news with it compared to like those other cards that we've seen is because it is a player side scheme, it can just sit there until you need it.
True.
So whenever you get this annoying minion that's once defeated, give the villain a tough status card, you thwart this off, boom, discard it. Don't have to worry about that.
And the other thing I like is we've seen it with all the other player side schemes is it helps everybody. I like that because a lot of the like villain side schemes is always like the player who defeated it or the first player. This one, lets everybody benefit.
Yeah. Pretty good. I'm liking these player side schemes.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting new way to play. All right, I'm going to pick the one that I don't think is great. I haven't, until I play it and see maybe that it does work. This to me is going to be a card that I would probably rarely put in. I just don't think that the cost to benefit is good enough. And it is Team Investigation. It's a 2 cost per player cost, which is the first time we've seen that. It's an event. It's called Team Investigation. I think I said that. It is an alliance card, so the players can pay this card's cost as a group, so more than just you. But you do, I think they said you have to like identify the people who are going to pay. And then hero action, you can remove 3 threat per player from a side scheme. I just don't, because if you march the numbers out, it's for a 1-player game, it's 2 cost for 3 threat removal, or it's 4 cost for 6 threat removal. It just seems like a lot.
Let's just say how it is. It's not a good card. I mean, if you, like you said, just crunch the numbers out. If you're playing solo, you're doing 2 cost for 3 threat, which is the same as 4 justice, except for 4 justice can get that extra thwart. and it has to be a side scheme.
Yes, that's the other thing.
What a huge letdown. I think this card would be better as 1 cost per player and do remove 2 threat from a side scheme. Well, even then, I feel like that's. Nah, I'd probably do it
This
1
one's
cost
tough
and
because you can't.
3.
It's like there's no good middle ground. It's either too powerful or it's too weak.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like. I've never used the Alliance. We've never played a game where I felt like a card with Alliance would be fun to do. Um, I just,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, if you're watching, I'm just throwing it behind me right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like the art of it. Kind of looks pretty cool, but I don't ever see a situation where I'm gonna need this. Or, here's the balance potentially is you do it as remove 3 threat per player from a divided,
Amongst
however you see
schemes.
fit with
Yeah,
side schemes.
I could see
Maybe
that.
that would be so. If there's 3 of them, you can work on all 3. Maybe that would have been more beneficial.
Yeah. Mm.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I don't like it.
sad.
Wow.
All right, well, last one. Let's do it. Ally Wolfsbane. 3 costs, 3 health, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 1 consequential for both. And it does have a response on the thwart, which is after Wolfsbane thwarts, name a card type. Then discard the top card of your deck. If that card is the named type, you may add it to your hand.
That pairs pretty good with her because you just put down the card, you know what it is with her ability or hero ability.
Yeah, yeah. And I could see her with a few heroes that you could probably use Wolfsbane to make it work.
Yeah.
Um,
And I do
trying to,
like that her 2 thwart only has 1 consequential, so it makes her a decent thwart ally for Justice.
yeah, yeah. For 3 costs, for 2 thwart, if you balance it out, that's 6 thwart. Total uses of her plus potential draw cards. That's not too bad. That's it. I would say that's about average cost. 6 for 3. But with that draw card ability, it could be beneficial if you can manipulate it. If you can't, then I don't know if I would play with her.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be very specific to which heroes you play her with.
Yeah, any heroes that can manipulate the deck, or at least what's the top, then you can use Wolfsbane.
Right. Who else can you look? Is it a Spider Woman? You could
Oh
look at the top
man.
card of your deck. I think that's what her alter ego power is.
Yes. So she
Or
is
any
definitely
deck.
one.
Yeah.
Yes. So Spider Woman can do it. So that might be a fun deck. Does Scarlet Witch have something where she can look at the top?
I don't think she can look. But you could pair it with the shield one that lets you like look at the top 4 and discard and put them back. You could. Oh no, that's the encounter deck. Never mind.
That's the encounter deck. Yeah. I was when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, it does say your deck.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could do combine it with.
You could just have puppies everywhere. You could have Pip the Pug and Cosmo and Wolfsbane.
Yeah, I was gonna say this Cosmo you discard, right, and he takes no consequential.
Yeah, if you guess it right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the new ruling is it has to be the encounter deck or your deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
I
think
guess
there
it could
might
be
be.
their hero. I don't know. I'd have to look at it to see exactly what it says now.
Yeah, that's right. They did alter it slightly. Well, I think it says it has to be from the encounter deck or your
Or
deck.
player deck or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan. We have
Yeah.
2 more cards. You
All
can't forget
right.
about the other posse members. Come on now.
Oh, that's right. There are 2 posses.
Yeah, 2 more. So one is an ally. White Fox, 3 cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 1 consequential for each. Posse traded, 3 health. Response: after a White Fox is discarded from the top of your deck, put her into play under your control. Still, that's a good discard manipulation. A 3 cost ally out for free with all the stuff she can do to discard.
Man, it's a pretty good card. I
Yeah,
mean, even
because
if you aren't playing with posse, with the amount of villains that make you discard, like playing this with Kang, I think that might be good.
yeah,
Well, I
but
guess it. Well, no, I guess it wouldn't work because it says discard from the top of your
she does have
deck.
to be the top card. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you can, if she's in your hand, you put her on the top of your deck, and then you use her pistol that discards the top card. Then she goes right into play.
a booyah!
That's a good combo.
Combo. Yeah, I think she's another ally that you could probably find ways to manipulate with other heroes.
Yeah, but I think she'll shine with Domino.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, I will say she is an ally that if you don't discard her, there's no reason to really ever play her.
Right.
Because whether you thwart or attack, at most she's going to be able to do is 3 on her own, which 3 thwart or 3 attack for 3 cost is not good.
Right. I mean, her whole value is getting her out for getting her out for free.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Why don't you round us out with your posse here?
All right, so this card is the Posse, and it is a 2-cost event, and it is max 1 per deck. Play only if you control at least 3 characters with the Posse trait. Hero action: heal 1 damage from each Posse character and ready them. So this, I feel like, is going to be a very niche card, basically only for Domino. It is a wild resource, which is nice for her, but there's no way any other player is going to use that.
No, and there's too many variables with this one.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. They didn't want to make it part of her deck, but there's a couple of these cards where they're basically only meant for one person.
This card is in essence a team up card. That's not a team up card.
Yep.
And even those team up cards, I think there's very few team up cards that I actually try and play. Because they just don't work. The timing is never right.
Yeah. I like the idea behind team up cards, but sometimes the execution just isn't there.
It's lacking. Yeah, and this one there's just a lot of setup, and then you've got to actually have the card in order to play it.
Yeah.
But
hey, it's
if you get it to work,
wild.
You get to heal everybody and then ready them, and then you can do all their exhaust and do all their stuff again.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have this be 2 characters, but I mean, if you don't play that other, the one we just talked about, White Fox, if you don't have her in your deck, you have to have your 2 signature allies out, and that's just so specific.
Yep, I agree.
But hey, cool. All right, so what are your final thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on her is I think she's going to be really fun to figure out those combos, to be able to like manipulate the deck, be like, oh sweet, I can exhaust this, put this card from my discard on the top of my deck. I want that card, so I'm going to flip over. I'm going to put this card on the top of my deck, switch it out, get it, discard that card. It puts this person into play. I just think it's going to be really fun to be able to jump through all those hoops and just watch it all work. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm curious to deck build with her, and see which aspects work better. Um, Obviously, most don't have a bunch of wild, so you'd have to kind of think of a different strategy with what she brings to the table and how aspects can benefit. Um, like I've already thought about like leadership, just kind of focusing on that posse and boosting up her gal friends. Um, but I think there can be some interesting possibilities with protection since she has that higher defense.
Yeah, I think that'll be another cool thing to play into. The 3 defense, I think, is something that we don't see a whole bunch, but it can really negate a lot of the villain's turn,
Yeah, yeah,
especially if you can find a way to ready.
yeah. I was gonna point that out as none of the cards that we have seen thus far are defensive or ready capability. So I'm curious what those other cards are and if they do address um, that missing part of her kit.
Yeah. I think she'll be fun. I think she'll be well rounded. I think she'll be a lot of fun to play. I think a little more technical and timey, and you're gonna have to kind of really think through some of your turns. There's probably gonna be a lot of redos. It's like, oh, I
Yeah,
didn't really mean to do it that way. Hold on, let me do it this way.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is limit at least the swapping of the top card. It is limit to once per round, so you're not like you shouldn't get too much analysis paralysis, since you only got to do that one shot, and the rest of the time it's kind of luck.
Yeah, random luck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ryan. Well, August can't come soon enough,
I
but
know.
if you can't wait till August, let us know what you're looking forward to when you get to play Domino. You can email us at marvelchumpionspod@gmail.com. And until we speak to you in the next one, thanks for listening.
All right, we'll talk to you later on.
See ya.